Kia ora, I'm Miriam McCaleb.
And I'm Nathan Mikaere-Wallis. We're from the Brainwave Trust. We're here today to give you some advice, some information around responding to the tragic Christchurch earthquake.
So there are already some excellent resources out there to support families through this difficult time.
For instance, I saw the Nigel Latter's got 5 tips I saw on the breakfast show the other morning. That's excellent information on responding to children's concerns.
And there's the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education, Plunkett, other websites like that.
So we don't want to reproduce that information because parents, and Canterbury especially, are already stressed at this time. What we want to do is to give you some nice, simple, straightforward advice on especially responding to infants, because that's often a gap in terms of people tend to think that it's a baby. They're not going to remember what happened, but actually they're incredibly vulnerable.
So what we've done is summarised our basic information for you today into what we're calling the 3 R's: relationships, resilience, and routines. And we want to start by talking about relationships. We want to make the point that the most important thing in your baby's life is you. So you might have lost your house and your child's lost all his toys and his mobile and his clothes, and that does indeed suck royally. But the good news is that all he really cares about and all his brain really needs is you.
Yeah, you're the centre of his world. He doesn't need all of that stuff. He's never needed that stuff. He needs you.
So that brings us to our second R, which is resilience. We want to encourage you to try and do your darndest to save your full-on weeping sessions and your massive rage for when your baby is not in the room.
This is not about being fake in front of the child or not being authentic. It's about modelling resilience to the child. So much of their cues they get from you. So, I mean, it's important that you acknowledge that you're scared or that you're sad. You know, to say I was scared during the quake, I'm sad about the tragedy afterwards. This is important, to acknowledge feelings. We just don't want to leave it there. What we need to do then is also model resilience. I'm sad about the quake, I'm sad about the tragedy, but I'm so happy we're all safe and we're all together now and it's all right now.
It teaches our children resilience when we practice saying those things, when we practice saying, yes, this is a full-on situation, but we have managed so well and I know that we will deal with whatever happens.
Well, they think mum and dad can handle it, so I can handle it.
Right.
It's basically the message they get.
And the next important we want to share?
Routine.
Routine.
The importance of routine.
And we want to be quite clear that we're not talking about being super rigid or about following the clock. Oh, it's 5 o'clock, so we've got to have dinner right now. No. We are talking about doing things in a predictable way and as much as possible sticking to those predictable routines and rituals that you've always had. So if you have bath and then jammies, a story and then bed, then please try and follow that same sort of pattern. It's especially important if you're not in your own home. If your child is, and this is a balancing act because we want to encourage routine, but we also want to encourage you to know when to deviate from that routine. So if baby usually sleeps in his own cot, but at the moment he seems to really want to be in your arms when he's asleep, that is A-OK. Extra cuddles, extra closeness, extra rocking is really important. It's
absolutely normal for children, for adults even, to regress in times of tragedy. So, I mean, this is not about... Sometimes parents are worried about, well, I'm going to turn my child into a wuss if I give them too many cuddles, too much responsiveness. The exact opposite's true. The more time a child spends in a state of fear in infancy, the less resilient he'll be as an adult. So giving the extra cuddles, letting them sleep in your room, reassuring your child is going to lessen the effects of the trauma.
And those are our 3 R's: relationships, resilience, and routines.
So, we'll leave you with that. Good luck, Canterbury.
Tai hoa. All of those are reliant on us
of course,
taking care of ourselves. So, if you have any hope of being present in your relationship with your infant, then it's super important to model that resilient attitude and keep up that routine. You've got to take care of yourself.
You're only going to be able to do that, in fact, if you're taking care of yourself. So that has to be a priority. I think about the plane analogy that you normally use on the airline where if an oxygen mask drops down, then please secure your own before you put it on the child. Same thing applies here.
Well, this is an emergency, right? This is an emergency, and so we must take care of ourselves. So whatever it is that you do to keep yourself sane and okay, go for a run, take a walk, take great big deep breaths, eat your veggies, get as much sleep as you can. You've got to take care of yourself so that you're in a position to take care of those other people.
Hopefully that's of some help for you. There are other resources posted at the other websites that Miriam mentioned previously. On this Brainwave website, there's some other resources relating to responding to trauma. So feel free to dig deeper.
Thank you. Good luck. Take care of each other.
Kia kaha, kia toa, kia manawa nui. Kia ora koutou.